All right, it is Monday, August 1st. Welcome, August, at 5:30 p.m. Meeting the Community Investment Program Task Force, as authorized by Section 551.071 of the Texas Government Code. This meeting may be convened in closed executive session for the purpose of seeking confidential legal advice from the city attorney on any agenda item herein. The City of Rowlett reserves the right to reconvene, recess, or realign the regular session or call executive session or order of business at any time to adjournment. Process for public input. If you are not able to attend in person, you may complete the citizen input form on the city's website by 3:30 p.m. the day of the meeting. All forms will be forwarded to the task force prior to the start of the meeting. For in-person comments, registration forms and instructions are available inside the City Hall. So, first order of business is approval of the minutes from June 6, 2022.
I did correct the date at the top.
Okay, thank you. Anybody need a couple minutes to go over them? Then we're ready, we'll entertain a motion.
Second.
In favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Very good. All right, next order of business, subcommittee reports. It has been a little bit quiet since City Council has had their first chance to talk on this and stuff. We really haven't had a chance to realign since June. Messaging, we do not have a specific report on this one. Laura and Angie did provide the survey results to date to us. So if you haven't had a chance to look at those, there's some good information in there. Anything else for messaging? Outreach?
That's all we got to report is just the July 4th booth that was set up this meeting. Yeah, I think we probably would have liked to see more activity than we got. We got a few people in there, but we were sort of sitting out there on the edge. So, but we did have Mike, myself, Jeffrey, Brian. I think we're there managing the booth. So it was good that we were there. And as far as I know, that's the last one I've been involved in. I don't know if we've had participation. It's been so hot. I don't think anybody really wanted to go out and do the farmers market. So as weather cools off, we'll probably redouble our efforts to get more involved in some of these community events.
There are a whole series starting this Friday of events coming up. So if they're not on there already, if we can refresh kind of the sign up area with the concerts on May.
We're going to do something different because that did not work. It's on the agenda.
The calendar
Further
meeting
down.
for tonight.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not sure if we can use something like Track It Forward or Sign Up Genius or something, or if that has to remain.
I asked everybody to bring their calendars for tonight so that we can talk about it. I just wanted to talk about it.
Right. And then, anything else on that?
Yeah, I'd just like to comment on, went to the Library Advisory Board, and Arts and Humanities Advisory Board. I mentioned it to Michael and Mike, but after the presentation, I asked them a couple of questions about who had already done the survey. And there was maybe 60% both times. And then I asked, what was your number one priority? Okay, from the library, arts and humanities, dog shelter. Blew me away. You know, what's going on here? You guys know even what's going on. What are you doing? Anyway, that was my feedback that I wanted to share, and I don't know if anybody else had some similar experience or not. But as far as I'm concerned, it's just bizarre.
I've had the same experience. I've kind of done an informal exit poll, not trying to private, say, hey, if you don't mind, maybe you can share with me what your number one was. And to my surprise, the animal shelter has been, at least of the people who responded back, that seems to be, I don't know if it's a matter of the price tag, I don't know if it's just the warm and fuzzy thing or what it is, but yeah, just a very, very informal type of discussion, I've been a little surprised that it wasn't something maybe a little more substantive.
It's probably a combination of a lot of things.
Yeah.
Price, dog lovers, and cat lovers. I've been in the shelter.
I've been in the
before,
shelter,
so-
and it may resonate more with people, they don't understand maybe some of the other infrastructure as well as they do, but yeah, we're running the same thing.
So I did the presentation for the COAD Community Organization Day Disaster at the Chamber, and it was a big audience, and it was really well received. There was a lot of questions asked, and so it's a diverse group. It's representatives from GISD and faith-based communities and stuff like that. So they really seemed interested in the overall concept and program. We didn't go too much. I didn't kind of query them as to what they would have preferred. With the audience, I'm guessing it probably would have been public safety, but
That's what I would guess.
I'll tell you guys, based on the results, so I do all statistician stuff. Public safety is top priority
Yeah.
currently.
Okay, good.
Believe it or not, public works comes in second. Animal services comes in third, parks maintenance fourth, city hall fifth, and the library last.
So just above the library, you know.
I get a little bit of that.
They're pretty spread out. I just took an average. I mean, I could spend a lot more time
Yeah.
trying to take it by. I just did an average of the scores from 1 to 5, with, 1 being the best score you could get, 5 being the worst. So,
I'll take a look at it because I'd like to see if I can correlate the answers to the people who said no tax increase.
I did not do that. I literally took them and put them on 4 different
Scrub those out, you
spreadsheets.
don't count.
I
Your opinion doesn't matter.
found it interesting, it said, some of them said no, but then over the other column, that they're okay with like animal shelters.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
a little confusing. I'm surprised the number of yeses would be willing
I
to do a
did.
4, 5, or 6.
I just did how they went.
Well,
That would be
So
good,
it's
so
just-
we didn't, I looked through the
And I just
ASD,
took the average,
unless
took
I
out 5.
didn't scroll down or see something at the very bottom, but yeah, if we can get a little more, other than just raw data and see really, okay, what does this mean? Because it's just, you're just seeing who's responded. It's
Right.
kind of hard to,
No, I know.
kind of hard to draw much out of that.
I just did these.
Well, my cynical side thought we were going to have a lot more just outright no's
Yeah.
than we did. Actually intended to trend towards more. Yeah, depends on, but yeah, let me see some more. So.
Right
I
after.
scrolled through the little spreadsheet
I just did
that
this
report, but
one.
I didn't see a total number of responses.
Yeah, that-
It was a little confusing.
We can put I can put some formulas on it and get counts and run some.
And I thought we had a lot more than what the spreadsheet, you scroll good, it didn't seem to do
Last I
that.
heard was 390.
That was just a portion of them, right? That
That's
was
a
just
portion of it?
one
Okay.
date to one date.
There's
I'm pretty
additional
sure.
60
So
on this
total,
last one.
Because there were only 50 on that one.
Okay.
so total there's 439.
Wow, okay, good.
Any other feedback on outreach? Okay. Education?
Yeah, I'll start while you're chewing. So we did the second video went out after the last meeting, on June 24th, it went out on public safety, the fire administration, the library, and public works. And I didn't see the total numbers on the viewership, because there's 4 different platforms that goes on. There've been a couple of comments on a few, someone asked, I didn't see any responses from anyone else in the committee or whatever, someone asked a question, and I answered the question, and we're going to follow up on that. We kind of tapped the brakes on doing the last one on Burford Park because there's no immediacy in my mind. We got 10 months before we're even entertaining the bond. So that would be a standalone, probably be a fairly short video as we kind of talk about it. Might be a couple of minutes. We go out and have a little survey of where the park is now, and maybe as the dirt starts getting moved. So it was, I think, Andy, you gave us some
I do
feedback.
want to clarify that we don't have 10 months. So this board will make a presentation to council in January, at the first meeting in January. So in December is when you will put that together, so we have up until November to continue to gather stuff and figure out how we're going to decide who the winner is and all that good stuff. But then in December, you guys will put your presentation together at your meeting, and then in January, we will present that as a presentation to city council. So just a heads up. Drew is still working on that. He is bombarded right now, but he still kind of has that on his plate. He really doesn't want to go out and take current pictures today outside of maybe like the dog park, because what it is today doesn't really, he's got some better photos of it and stuff, because they're in the process of putting oil through, they just finished putting oil through the front half, so he is still have that on his radar, but
Parents' question, just curious, do you anticipate after that January meeting that will be the end of this board, or do you?
I do not know. Once
I-
you make that presentation to council, then we'll go from there. I mean, they could engage you to educate about the bond, they could engage you to do a number of different things, so.
And so I don't think, they were trending towards maybe in November if they're gonna do it, but there's a possibility they could still call them for May. So I think when we present in January, there's a lot of factors that are gonna determine this.
Well, that's why I kind of said 10 months, because the data will be 10 months old. I guess I'm a property owner, right? If I'm asking what my opinion is in the summer of 2022 for something that I'm not going to decide on until May of 2023, my opinion may have changed. So that's where
Yeah, we just have to call an election in February, so that's how we end up with a January date.
And I don't know if education or outreach falls into this, but is there anything that the city is planning to do from a town hall perspective, to talk about budget or anything like that, that we would have opportunity to talk about and try to get additional survey results?
We don't currently have anything scheduled.
Okay.
We don't currently have any town halls scheduled. This is budget time for us, so it's crunch. Possibly in the fall, there could be a town hall where you can have a table and do it there, but not right now.
Anything else on education? Okay, well, thank you guys for doing those too. Appreciate it. Survey results? We've kind of been sneaking them in anyways, but
I only did the last one. I didn't put two and two together. Laura might have done them all. Did you do them all?
I did not, but I did more of a fine tune on the very first one, because it was not, I'm not an Excel formula person, but that piece of paper is in my office. What do I need to take on the board?
Yes. I just did this most recent one she sent, and I think it falls in line pretty much. You've got public safety. Public Works actually is ranking in there second. Mike had done some additional stuff, and he had gotten Parks Maintenance third. I ended up with Animal Services third, then Parks Maintenance, then City Hall, and then the library. I'll tell you, Public Works is, while they are on the list, because it is something we have to discuss, they are not busting at the seams like some of the other facilities. So if it was an animal services building, an animal shelter that got built, that opens up some additional room for Public Works. But, the direction from council is still a little bit on the sway. Some were very adamant animal shelters, some still were adamant about public safety, so.
Yes, we
So, that's,
Yeah, just a question, if anybody's talking to citizens on Public Works, one thing I've heard is, we got it on there as Public Works, we're talking facilities. I know some of the people I've talked to seem to think that means streets and alleys.
it means the public work facility. where the
But I'm
employees-
saying, I know in having conversations with people as they're filling it out, I've heard them say that, oh yeah, my street needs fixed, I want Public Works, so.
That's
Yeah,
their
just for
physical
what that's
building,
worth.
so that's good information for you as you go out to clarify, this isn't about Public Works getting that money, it's
Yeah.
about the facility. But they have room to grow there, and they are not as tapped out as some of the other places. Hereford in this group, and I think pretty much Laura's got, you have that, you want me to go do this?
Actually, I think it's make copies of that.
Okay.
I think that's what I need to do.
You're going to go in your office?
The copier. So I did this deep exam of the first set that was sent out, which was 375. Of those 375, only 43 said no tax at all. Number ones were public safety came in first at 179. Shelter came in second. And then public works, a far third. Library fourth. No, Fairburn fourth, library fifth, and city hall last. It's been a while since I looked at this, excuse me. Of the ratings, 71 said yes to 6 cents, 21 said yes to 5 cents, 4 said yes to 88 said yes to 4 cents, and 96 said maybe. And then the next question asks, if council lowered the rate first, what would you be willing to accept? 86 said 6 cents, 21 5 cents, and 89 4 cents, and 110 maybes, and only 60 no's if they lowered it. And that was as good as I got on those. But again, it was public safety, animal shelter, and public works were the top three.
Any other questions? I know we're all looking at the schedule. But thank you for putting those numbers together, and I'll go through and see if I can remember some stuff. Do some exclusions and stuff. The schedule came out of upcoming city events. I can do every one of the summer concert series of movies on Main.
Actually, that's not gonna work. If you could, on your sheet, mark the dates that you are available, and then I'll send out a calendar with them all included.
All right, let's put our names on the bottom. Well, let's just circle the dates that we
Sure.
can do.
However you want to mark it.
Movies on the main, that's basically the children's, yes.
Yes.
Family movies.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the whole family's there.
Okay.
And all of these are actually out at the Village Green, out front. The lunch on the lawn wouldn't be a full-fledged booth setup, it would be the iPad in hand.
Laura, I'll need to check on the calendar for me. What I'll do is, if it's okay with you, check the calendar, I'll circle what I got, and I'll scan it and send it to you. via email.
Perfect. And if everybody else wants to do that too, that's perfect. So as long as you get it to me ASAP.
Do we want to add Neighbor Fest onto these? Those might be some good targeted ones.
I don't have them.
I don't have all the dates for those, but yeah, absolutely.
I'm showing one on September
See
24th.
if I can-
So what the Neighbor Fests are is Parks goes out and they
It's
kind of have a
neighborhood
watch
plan.
party.
It's a neighborhood plan.
Yeah. And so they're in a lot of the HOAs and stuff, so you're gonna get,
But
I'm thinking,
they have purposes for those,
right,
so we don't want to get in the way of their purpose. So I will check with them to see if it's an option. The other thing is, they sent me a listing of the HOAs. And so what we might want to do is contact them, the outreach subcommittee, to reach out to the HOAs and find out when they have their meetings, when they have their get-togethers, and that can be scheduled as well. The other thing is the first Tuesday in October is National Night Out, and I'll have a list of all the neighborhoods. And so we can have volunteers go to those neighborhoods to pass out survey links.
Did you say the first Friday in October?
First Tuesday.
First Tuesday, so that's the 4th.
There are, I mean, our team kind of knows the big ones, so they'll be able to make sure you're not hitting all 32, but you're hitting the ones that have.
The new membership on the boards and commissions starting in September, so we might potentially.
New membership.
This
Starts
is a task
October
force.
1st.
Yeah, this is a task
This is
force.
a task
though.
force.
So you guys are appointed, go ahead, sorry.
Are you
No,
talking
no,
about
no, what I'm
visiting
saying is,
their-
we've done visitations to arts and humanities, and those, we're gonna have new people on those committees in September.
Right,
Would we
well,
want to come?
October.
Yeah, October, okay, so I don't know. if-
We're not gonna revisit.
Oh, we're not?
It'll be minimal changes.
Okay,
You usually just see one, maybe two,
okay.
max.
Exactly.
Or if you said we could scan these, take these and scan these back to you.
Yes, if you're not finished, if you're unsure,
Yeah, let me do that, that's something. Yeah, well, on my phone, it doesn't show.
What's the lunch on the line?
we have the food trucks out here on Monday. So again, that wouldn't be a full booth setup, it would be iPad in hand or survey links.
The part 2 of Building Our Future has had 70 views, and part 1 has had 177. Even if it's on a social media site, it takes you to the YouTube video. So, you guys can go out and share those on your social media pages to get people to.
Do you have one extra copy of this?
Would you?
Okay. So I'm gonna turn this one in. I don't need it right now, but there's some dates that I need for other stuff
I
that I
made
don't
10
have.
because
and
I
I'm like,
can't count, and so.
Okay. Any new business? Anything?
Anything
Laura,
for our
Angie?
next agenda?
Anything? Into the next agenda now?
I think my advice is look and see if there's anything outside of just city events, right? You see a lot of the same crowd at the same city events over and over and over. So if your church does something, if your, some group that you're a part of outside of this does something, besides boards and commissions, right? We've gotten them, but other stuff. Share this information with them. We'll try to get outside that
When
box.
football starts over here for JV and part, JV.
Flyers probably, if the school would let you do it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't set up a booth, but I mean, there's no reason why I couldn't attend an event and hand out flyers, which I would think we could print.
We'd have to ask
Yeah.
school permission.
Yeah. Huh?
We're the school.
Oh, okay.
Or go up to the Bullet Training Center.
Yeah,
There's 300 parents a night
just
out
don't
there.
stick 'em on cars, that's illegal.
Yeah.
Physically have to hand them to you. I mean, there might be offices that are willing to put flyers in, right? Like, we have a lot of success with that with Parks and Rec. And we get them back, people, the doctor's office, there's one laying there, they'll scan it with their card, we've done that with postcards and stuff, so.
Do we have any printed ones available now?
I can before you leave.
It's not critical, I just need them before Saturday. I can come pick them up during the day.
What do you think about the supermarkets? Like Tom? I know they don't want political stuff
Yeah, they're not
on the
much of
inside
a
or outside, but
Yeah.
this might be something that could be acceptable.
Anything you can find outside of the norm, right? The donut shops, anybody that'll say, hey, can we hang this on your wall? They tend to be more apt to do it because it's a city, I'll be honest with you. I mean, we do that a lot, but
Well, but there's a fine line between that. We don't want to aggravate people to get a backlash too, so.
yeah. So, I mean, it's just, I'm just saying, outside of,
Right.
you've gotten a good core group from events, you're gonna start to see event people say, I've done it, I've done it, I've done it.
Yeah.
Because it's that same, it tends to be that same group of people over and over again.
How about during the upcoming elections? Do you set up on your
On city property.
Is it Laura? Oh my God.
If-
That's definitely a hard question.
If the polling location is city
Yeah.
property, yes.
Would it be
This is
advised
trying to
just
say
for,
something for the last 5 people.
You're good, it's something else.
Okay.
No, it's all right. When we talked about it a while back, the difference between all these estimates back in 2019 and then to modern day dollars, how does the council rectify that? Because like I said, if we have people like, all right, 60 million, it's worth it, and then it goes on the ballot, it's 95 or.
It's not going to jump that much. You're not going to see a $35 million jump. I mean, we talked to the folks that built our Icon Consulting, who built our fire station, and there is a marginal increase, but it's 3 to 8%, and 3% on $60 million is a little bitty bit in the big scheme of things, right? So,
And some of the futures on some materials starting to shrink.
yeah. And there will also be a change, right? Which is one of the reasons. Which is one of the reasons they chose intentionally to put it off, to not go to bond in November because of inflation and building costs and all those
It was
things.
an unknown, so it was just
Yeah.
I think the prudent thing to do is just put strategic bonds on it until we have a better picture. of
So I
what
mean,
we-
60 million or 62, there's not a lot of difference when you get to the $60 million level, so
Okay.
those are still, I mean, those are reasonable numbers. You're seeing inflation shoot up right now, but by May, it could be back down. If it gets dropped till November, it could be even further, so.
That's awesome, because I was like, isn't it just gonna keep getting more and more expensive? And then,
Not necessarily.
Yeah, but not,
That's always the trend.
Yeah.
Right, you'll see it taper off, but price is always,
well, interest rates are not favorable right now.
No.
yeah, they just went up.
And when you're talking about $60 million, then drop in the bucket. Because it's so high to serve. And you also have to remember, we don't have a plan that we can say, how much does this cost, right? So we're going on, if they said 60 million and that's what we got, we're gonna figure out how to build a facility at $60 million that will accommodate what we need. So, there's not a plan that we have dollars attached to. Makes a big difference.
Any other discussion?
We have Parks Board coming up next week again. We've already made a presentation to the Parks Board. Would there be any value in doing that again?
That's what Laura said, not again. Yeah.
So if we've
I
already
mean,
made
you
a
could
presentation.
encourage, you could encourage the Parks Board, here's 10 flyers, hand them to 10 friends, but not to do a presentation again.
So if we've already done a presentation to any board, like a KRB,
Yeah.
Parks, whatever,
Yeah,
we would be value.
yeah. Share the video, share the link on your Facebook page, your social media, wherever it is. Fill this out for us, that's the best thing you can do.
Zach, I just want to say this is my first meeting with you as your council liaison, so I appreciate being here. And however best I can help represent you to the council. So,
Well, thank you for being a liaison and taking the time as well. Appreciate it.
And this is Richard.
Yeah.
He was able to attend his first meeting tonight.
God bless COVID, you know?
And COVID,
Yeah.
Richard was also at July 4th.
When will
He did
it-
that first stretch with Brian.
That July 4th crew folks who went out there, thank you so much.
It
Because
was painful.
my nonprofit was out there too. I couldn't make it that day, and they said that it was a brutal day, so thank you.
Richard and I ended up walking around to other booths to talk to the people that were working, because we weren't getting much traffic where we were. We got about half our surveys.
Yeah, and interesting enough, that we couldn't catch them with the dollars and cents. Do you have a dog? And several of them did. Well, you can help. Here, let us know. Just, again, trying to get them.
So our next meeting is slated for Monday, September 5th, which is Labor Day. So do we want to postpone to Monday the 12th?
Yes.
Is there
Everybody
any
agree with that?
meet again until we have turned that?
Well, that was another question that I was considering maybe bringing up, but I wanted to get it on agenda. Should we look at the frequency that we're holding meetings right now?
Do you want to
And
postpone
possibly,
to October?
is there enough to keep us busy for a September meeting? So,
At what point do they need to start working on, you said December, getting ready for
Yeah.
presentation?
November, December, I think.
I think the critical thing is if you're not meeting, you're still back there behind the scenes pushing it, right?
Right.
That can't die down. And if meetings need to happen for that refresher, oh my God, we gotta do this. But yeah, I mean, there's no reason why we couldn't meet in October. We didn't meet in July. Wait till October. It's up to y'all.
I'm perfectly happy to meet in September, and I'm perfectly happy not to meet in September, so I'm kind of leave it. If you think it's really important to keep pushing the message and track progress, that's fine. If not,
Would it be feasible to just call a meeting in September if it's needed? Based on an agenda?
Well, you can't as a group decide that if you're not sitting at this table right now, right? So consensus has to come in this week.
I'd like to do October. I think we'll have a lot of events between now and October. I think we'll be able to, we'll have more meaningful numbers because there'll be a number of events between then. I think that there'll be enough data that maybe it's more significant than what we're going to get, especially August. It's going to be so brutal here next month.
well, this isn't a formal vote or motion or anything, but just a show of hands, who would rather skip and wait till October? Okay. Next will be October.
October 3rd.
There's nothing going on in August.
Yeah,
Names on the side.
October 3rd.
Cooking eggs on the side.
I'm not that serious.
No.
Is there a conflict?
It's like, no, I was on vacation.
Oh, okay.
It'll be fun.
Oh, we'll be fine. I mean, if you think you'll miss us that much, we can make it. All right, anything else? All right, let's call the meeting 6:04.